Welcome the student athletes from Baylor University, Adam Flagler, James Akinjo, and Dale Bonner joining us. And we have 20 minutes allotted for the student athletes. They'll be followed by head coach Scott Drew. Start with questions in the room and then move to questions from Zoom if there are any. On the right, second row.
Eric Kelly from Fox 44 in Waco. This one's for James and Dale. How did the first experience of March Madness for y'all live up to what you expected?
James, you can start with that.
It was cool. I mean, it was fun. It was intense, but it wasn't nothing like too crazy or nothing that I didn't expect, you know. So I mean, it was cool. It was fun.
Dale?
I would say the same thing. It's definitely exciting, but it was fun. You know, on to the next game though.
Front row on the left.
John Warner, Waco Tribune Herald. Adam, what do you see from North Carolina? Do they look like any teams you've played this season?
They definitely look like a couple teams in the sense of their size. It'll definitely be something that we will be new to, but at the end of the day, our conference really preps us for anybody in the country. So we just gonna pride ourselves on focusing on our defensive principles and going out there and executing.
Oh, I'm sorry, didn't see you there. Third row.
Dale, it seemed like in the Kendall Count Sic'Em 365, Dale, it seemed like against Norfolk State you had a really good defensive performance. As you've transitioned to playing at a higher level basketball this season, what have you done to kind of improve your ability to move laterally on the perimeter?
I would just say consistently bringing energy. Energy and confidence can do a lot for you, and that's what I try and do every time I play. So.
On the left-hand side, second row.
Adam, Kevin Longquist, Sic'Em Sports. I had a question for you about, you guys like to get in transition. They're a very high transition team. So in terms of those types of styles, defensively, what do you talked about your principles there. What do you think that's going to be key to try and limit how much they want to try and get out on the floor and run?
Just focusing really on taking our best shots, and then at the end of the day, they're a really good offensive rebound team. So as long as we're boxing out and giving them only one chance, we can get out and run in transition because we got a lot of guys that can finish, like James, lob threats like Kendall, Jeremy, Matt, as well as me spacing the floor, me and Dale. So we got a lot of key pieces, for transition. But at the end of the day, as long as we're boxing out, giving them one chance, we set ourselves up good.
Back on the right side.
Adam, Curtis Quillen, KCEN, Channel 6 in Waco. Obviously, you guys have stressed a hot start or a fast start to each game this season, but when you see how North Carolina played against Marquette yesterday, does that maybe emphasize the importance of that a little more going into tomorrow?
The main focus on any of these games, is 1-0. We could all go home at the end of the day, so we always want to start off on a fresh, fast start and go out there and apply pressure and just make our presence felt. So.
Stay on the right side.
Adam, for you offensively, with how consistent you've been in your ability during conference play especially to get into that double figures mark, how much has that been you kind of looking for your shot, and how much of it is just the way that the offense flows through you?
A lot of it is just the way the offense works, with James, being able to break anybody down and find guys. It's really making it easy for a lot of us to score the ball. And then, with my confidence and, the work that we put in during the summer, it allows me to feel a lot more comfortable out there and just go out there and just be aggressive and play hard.
Left-hand side, front row. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. James, y'all obviously got off to a great start yesterday. How key is that in NCAA tournament games like this?
I think that's a big key in NCAA tournament games. I think you always want to come out and throw the first punch. I think that kind of set the tone for how the rest of the game go. And you kind of see how the other team respond after that. We know teams going to fight back, but we always want to be the aggressor coming out in every game.
Right-hand side, almost all the way back.
Hey, this is for Adam. Stephen Hawkins with the AP, and if James or Dale want to address this as well. I mean, you guys are in a bracket that included North Carolina, UCLA, teams with multiple national championships. We saw Kentucky go down, and then Kansas is also on this floor. What does it mean to be Baylor, the defending national champion, and being in the position you guys are in? And what does it say about where you guys are and where this program wants to go?
It just, I got to get a lot of credit to Coach Drew and how he carries himself as well as carries the team, and he's our leader at the end of the day. So coming in, we always, focus on who we have at hand. I know that it's a really good bracket, but at the end of the day, we got to win the game in front of us to even, advance. So that's all we focus on.
Back to the left.
This is for Adam. You saw Brady Bannock last year when he was at Oklahoma. Just looking at him either on film or what have you, what do you think's changed about his game? We know he can shoot the three, but what do you think's changed from what you guys saw of him this year?
He's definitely being a lot more aggressive. We've all seen from playing against him as well as him being in the Big 12, we know what he's capable of. So we're definitely going to focus on, making him feel uncomfortable out there. So it's going to be exciting, and we can't wait.
More questions for the student athletes. Left-hand side, third row.
This is for any of you guys. What are some of the challenges that Carolina presents on the glass, and in particular, Armando Bacot?
Adam, you can start with that.
Like I said before, their size is really elite from the literally, I think, the 2 to the 5. They have really good size. So we definitely have to focus on boxing out. But like I said before, the Big 12 is a huge conference, and all of the teams in the Big 12 focus on rebounding. So as long as we focus on, staying true to our principles, we'll be fine.
James?
Yeah, I think, they big, but Big 12 got a lot of big teams also. So we're real confident in our guys. We put in a lot of work in the weight room, stuff like that. So we're going to help our bigs down there with their bigs. But I think we got confidence in guys like Flo, Jeremy, that they can get it done on the glass.
Dale? No. Nothing? Okay. Right-hand side.
This one's for Adam and James. Obviously, talking about that size, and since you guys lost John for the season, was there a point where you guys felt like you adapted to kind of life without him on the court and were able to kind of work around maybe a little bit of the size differential that losing him caused on the court?
Dale, you want to start on that?
He asked
I'm sorry.
James and Adam.
I'm sorry.
Right, fine.
James, go ahead.
I ain't gonna lie, like for me personally, I never get used to seeing John not on the court. So it's kind of always weird seeing him not out there with us. But when we out there, we kind of it just put a big responsibility on not just the bigs but the guards to get on there and help rebound. And he helping every day, just talking and stuff like that. So I think that we're adjusting pretty well, not having him. We're starting to rebound more, and we're getting better and better with it every day.
Adam?
At the end of the day, you really can't, replace somebody like John in the sense of his energy, how aggressive he is, how physically, gifted he is. So as a team, we all just got to focus and hone in. The guards got to go in there and battle as much as we can and, help those bigs, Flo, Jeremy, Kendall, all those bigger guys out down there.
Stay on the right side.
Adam, it felt like the game yesterday maybe got called a little tighter than the Big 12. You picked up those 2 early fouls. Does that change anything you do if they're calling the game maybe tighter than they might have Big 12 game between y'all and Tech?
It's definitely adjustment. We're an adaptable team at the end of the day. So whatever the refs decide to call, we have to adjust and play what best fits us. So we're going to continue to be aggressive, and the coaches do a great job of subbing in, subbing out. Communicating us, how exactly we should still be aggressive while being smart.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Go back to the second row.
This one's for Adam and James again. Is there an art or a science to getting used to when you travel to so many different gyms and maybe, one's way different than the other in terms of the look or what's behind you or depth perception? Is there an art or a science to getting used to that so quickly where you can, adapt and get your shot?
Adam?
It really just boils down to, the work that we put in prior to the travel, the preparation. And at the end of the day, we do have a shoot around certain things so we can get a feel for the gym, maybe a different ball, the arena and everything. So once you get in the gym and once you get up a couple shots, you start to get more and more comfortable. So,
James?
Yeah, I think, if you can shoot no matter where you at, what kind of gym you in, what kind of rim it is, whatever. So I think we got a lot of confidence in whatever gym we in. And I think it just carries over to, obviously we get in here, shout out to our GAs and our coaches for, getting us, a lot of shots up and allowing us to get in a lot of work. But I think the confidence that we got just carry over gym to gym.
Questions for the student athletes? Third row.
And James, to build off of that, you all had a really good three-point shooting game yesterday after maybe not the best game for you all against Oklahoma. Do you feel like there's something going forward from the game yesterday that maybe will transfer to tomorrow with how the three-point shooting kind of came around?
I think just our energy. All right, like I said, I think we had some great practice leading up to the game versus Norfolk, and I think, we playing hard and we defending and we getting out and running, I think shots going to fall. As you just have fun and you just play, that's kind of the way that basketball works. It usually favors the team that plays hard and gets, the most 50-50 balls and stuff like that. So we're just going to bring the same energy, the same intensity, the same focus from the jump, and, the cards going to fall how they fall.
Back on the left-hand side, second row.
Dale, I wanted to ask you, I know you spoke to this a few moments ago about going from Division II to Division I, but for you personally, what kind of physical change or just adjustment did you have to make in order to play at this level and be as productive as you have been when you've been called upon?
I would say it's definitely more physical. So getting in the weight room with our strength and conditioning coach, Charlie, just getting stronger each week and just getting used to the contact. I think I get better at that every game, so I'm just going to continue to grow.
How we doing today?
Head coach Scott Drew of the Baylor Bears. Start with an opening statement and take questions in the room, followed by questions on Zoom. Coach Drew.
Well, this time of year, it's just a blessing to be able to see you guys again. So that means we're still playing, and that's a great thing. Proud of how we played, competed yesterday, and then probably my afternoon was ruined by watching North Carolina play and just how good they were. And Coach Davis has done a great job with them, and they're really playing good basketball. And I know we got a lot of challenges ahead of us tomorrow.
First question in the front on the left-hand side.
John Warner, Waco Tribune. Scott, could you maybe just talk a little bit more about what North Carolina brings to the table, especially Armando Bacot?
Yeah, it's tough to stop a team that has a lot of different weapons, people that can score 20. And Bacot in the middle is somebody that's really hard to guard one-on-one. He does an unbelievable job cleaning up the glass and getting them second chance opportunities. At the same time, you surround them with a bunch of guys that can make shots, really spaces the floor. Brady Manick, we're obviously really familiar with. He can grow that beard to try to hide, but we know who he is. And he's a great player. He can really shoot it. And I've always respected his game and what he brings to the table.
Right-hand side, second row.
Hey, Coach. Eric Kelly, Fox 44. In terms of talking about Armando and what he can do on the boards, is it easy to get guards to embrace that area, the rebounding, especially when you lose a guy like John, who is so integral in that area?
I think everyone's had to pick up their level of commitment to the rebounding end of things, and we've tried to do that. At the same time, when you get an elite rebounder like Bacot, everybody knows to block him out, and he's pretty good at not being blocked out. And he's got great hands. If he touches it, his hands, he gets it. And he's very physical, and it's hard to keep him off the glass because of that.
In the back on the left.
C.L. Brown, Raleigh News and Observer. Scott, how were you able to kind of keep the continuity with this team, given that you had arguably two of your most talented players get injured and out of the lineup?
I think it's a tribute to the staff. It's done a great job game planning, assistant coaches, and most of the credit obviously go to the players. They've all stepped up, embraced different roles, different things they had to do, make up for, and they know what a loss it's been not having LJ and John. So throughout the year, we've had more injuries this year than probably we've had in maybe ever in my 19 years at Baylor, and we've had different guys step up, and that's really been helpful throughout. So I think players are used to stepping up and helping out.
Far right, Mr. Hawkins from the AP.
Stephen Hawkins with the AP. Scott, you're in this bracket with North Carolina, UCLA, Kentucky was in this bracket, all multiple championships, Kansas on the same floor. What does it mean to be the defending champion, and what you guys are trying to do and what you've been able to accomplish so far at Baylor?
Well, what's so great about March is no matter what game you watch and no matter who you probably picked in your bracket, you know that it's a one-game, 40-minute event. So anything can happen, and there could have been several other upsets yesterday with the close games. So really, I think the important thing is having player-led teams, and what I mean by that is them understanding just the parity in college basketball and how hard and how well they have to play if they want to stay in this tournament. And it doesn't guarantee. I mean, you can play a great game and go home, but I think a lot of times you see 16-1 or 15-2, and you just assume there's a big difference. And for 40 minutes, nobody wants to go home, so you better bring it.
On the left, second row.
Scott, Kevin Longquist, Sic'Em Sports. You guys obviously thrive a lot off of your transition game, and UNC does the same. Is there kind of a delicate balance you have to walk because of what they can do on that when they're on offense and what you guys need to do defensively to try and limit that?
Yeah, we prefer to make shots, so they got to take the ball out of bounds, not turn it over, and not let them get out by our misses. But great teams score easy, and North Carolina scores easy in transition. They turn you over and score easy. So I think both teams. Why we're both good is because in basketball, really things are pretty simple, and that is take good shots, offensive rebounds, so when you miss them, you get them back. Don't turn it over. And North Carolina's really gone to another level as far as assist to turnovers. I mean, their ratios, especially from conference on down, are really impressive. So they do a good job in limiting people's easy buckets by not putting themselves in positions with live ball turnovers.
Third row on the right.
Kendall Kaut, Sic'Em 365. Scott, with the NCAA tournament, when you have the potential to play North Carolina or Marquette, do you have a few guys in the bracket comes out that get ready for either contingency, and then kind of how do you attack it once you know North Carolina's the opponent from there?
Yeah, so usually each assistant coach will grab one team, and either one they're familiar with or scouted before, and then from there you go with who wins, and you're ready once the game's over.
On the left, next to last row.
Trayvon Miles, ABC 11 in Raleigh. Scott, you talked about how well Carolina played yesterday. Without giving away too much of your game plan, how do you decide on what you want to limit, whether it's inside and focusing inside, or just how hot they can get from behind the arc?
Well, I think first and foremost, you got to do, especially when you only have 1 day prep, you got to do and stay with what got you here. So I don't know if teams are going to make too big adjustments and try things that they haven't done all year and don't feel comfortable with. At the same time, I mean, both teams don't want to give up layups, and both teams don't want to give up uncontested threes, and that's why you're hoping they grasp and learn as much as they can in the scouting report, so buckets become more isolation plays rather than having advantages based on execution.
Back on the right.
Coach, you think about Adam and how consistent he is in terms of reaching that double-figure plateau, especially in conference play. What's that area where he's been so good in that has allowed him to be so consistent there?
Well, I mean, Adam's somebody that the bigger the game, it doesn't affect him usually the better he plays, and he's a two-way guy, and he can score at all three levels. So you feel comfortable as a coach when you have someone like that has experience and doesn't get rattled, and doesn't mean he's always going to make the game-winning shot, but or the game-winning play, but he usually doesn't beat himself, and he always shows up for the team.
On the left.
Scott, how do you counter such a great defensive player in Leaky Black?
Well, I think if it was just one, I wouldn't be worried. But all of them are pretty athletic, move their feet, do a good job. And what's really impressive is both teams don't play have a big rotation, and both teams do a good job staying out of foul trouble. So that means you're doing your work early and moving your feet. So at the end of the day, for us, we're going to do what we do, and there's things they're going to try to take advantage of. We're going to try to take advantage of, and usually it comes down to players making plays, and we like to say control what you can control. As many tough shots as they have to make, contested shots they have to make, we can live with those results. We can't live with the uncontested or unforced errors on our self-inflicted wounds on our part.
Back on the right near the center aisle.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the guard play of North Carolina. Of course, yesterday, Caleb Love with the 6 threes and R.J. Davis with the 12 assists. It seemed that when either one of them are on this season, North Carolina looks like a different team. So what have you noticed from that tandem in preparation for tomorrow?
I mean, they're excellent players. And they played really well. I haven't seen a game where they haven't yet, so probably that's a bad thing. But again, very talented players playing the best basketball at the end of the year. What makes them tough is normally if a player can only do one thing, either drive it or shoot it, you can limit them. When they can do multiple things, both of them are very good at creating for themselves and others, and they can score beyond the arc, and they can score in the paint. So again, you just try to limit easy buckets for them, make them earn everything, and make it as difficult as possible.
Return to the front row on the left.
Scott, when Matt Meyer's shooting like that, especially from outside, what does that do for the rest of the team?
That makes us look like better coaches. So obviously making shots helps everybody. So with us, it's really the quality of the shot. And if we get our players to take good shots, then we're doing our job, they're doing their job, and we can live with the results.
Back on the right.
Scott, we all know that Coach Tang's name is out there for several opportunities, and clearly deservedly so, and he's been there before. Can you talk about how he's kind of, I know he's focused on this team, but talk about how he's handling it, but also how he's ready for that opportunity when it comes, if it comes?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Tang and I have been together 19 years, and he's had opportunities before, but obviously each year those opportunities grow, and deservedly so. He's done a remarkable job. I know a lot of people say the next Tommy Lloyd, and I know Tommy really well, and I knew he'd do a great job when he chose to leave, and Coach Tang's the exact same way. So I love him as a brother, and he's a terrific coach, and there's a big reason why we've been successful is we have a great staff, and he's a big part of it. So when he chooses to go, I know he'll do a great job, and hopefully we don't have to play him.
About 5 more minutes left with Coach Drew. Let's go to the back on the
John
right.
Johnson with WXII. With such a quick turnaround between games, how much is it important about in-game adjustments when you actually get a chance to see Carolina on the floor, being able to make those things on the fly, maybe something you couldn't see on tape?
Well, I think that's why both of us playing in leagues that you have so many great players and great coaches. You pretty much by conference tournament time and the NCAA tournament have seen everything. So at least you can bring a reference, like this is similar to what Iowa State did, or this is similar to what maybe Duke does for them. So that's non-conference scheduling. Conference prepares you for this, and guys are used to making adjustments. And the great thing is they have a database, and they have experience in games of doing whatever you would change to. There's very few things this time of year you'll do that you've never done or seen.
Let's return to the left.
Scott, I know it's a different team, but what have you taken from last year's championship run and tried to instill in this team this year?
Well, I think, experience, no matter what profession you're in, you write a great story, you have that to build on for the future, to write another one. And I think with coaches, there's things that work and things that don't work. Each team, it's different, but that experience is like a cheat code to help you hopefully navigate those waters. And more importantly than that, though, is I think the players having that experience, because players listen to players a lot more than they listen to coaches, believe it or not. So when a senior tells them, hey, this is what we got to do, or we got to lock in, and that to a freshman means a lot more than a coach saying it.
Let's return to the middle and the third row.
And Scott, I guess on the broadcast they mentioned that maybe Kendall, shouts to the good name as well, might have been having an issue with strep throat. Has he been doing better since then, or what can you update us on that?
Yeah, Kendall's a tough kid, and he really did a great job in competing and playing, and obviously will have more energy hopefully Saturday than he did. But again, credit him. Doctor said he could play, and even though he was recovering and not 100%, he wanted to be out there for his guys, and coaches love that.
Any more questions on the left?
Scott, pardon my ignorance for this question, but I just wanted to be sure. Is LJ definitely out for this game, or is there any update of
Yeah, he's
him making progress?
he's definitely out for this game. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but I can't.
Anything else for Coach Drew? Okay. Coach,
Appreciate
thanks
you
very
guys.
much. Good luck.
Have a good day.